Hi, I'm Dr. Matthew Anderson, and the lesson for today is a really special one. My experience of this lesson is if you get the point, literally it can transform your experience of every bad thing that has ever happened to you or ever will happen to you in your life. It is that meaningful and that powerful. I call it holy mess or holy message. Holy mess or holy message. This story comes from Jalaluddin Rumi, who was a Sufi poet and a saint who lived about 700 years ago. The story goes like this. There was a man traveling across the desert. At the end of the day, he comes to an oasis, and he's exhausted, he's tired, he's thirsty. He drinks his fill out of the water and then falls into the shade of a palm tree, and he goes to sleep. And like many men, I've heard, he starts to snore, and as he snores, his mouth opens. And in the midst of this experience, this incredibly poisonous snake slithers up and goes into his mouth. And right at that moment, a holy man who has been making the trip across the desert also arrives at the oasis, sees the man asleep, and sees the tail end of the snake as it goes into his mouth, and he knows immediately what has happened. And so the holy man takes his whip, runs over to the man sleeping, wakes him up, and starts to hit him. And the man says, "Sir, what's wrong? What did I do? Why are you hitting me?" And the holy man says, "Run, run, don't talk to me, run." And he hits him over and over again, and the man is totally confused, and he's in pain from the whipping, and yet he does what the holy man tells him to do, and he starts to run around the water hole, and the holy man hits him and knocks him down and tells him to eat mud and then run. And the man thinks maybe he died and went to hell, because there's so much pain. It's totally chaotic. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever what's happening with him. And the holy man keeps driving him. He says, "Sir, what's going on?" He says, "I don't have time to explain. Just go, run." And so finally, in exhaustion, in pain, he falls down on his hands and knees and he throws up. And in a split second, everything that's been going on suddenly makes sense, because the snake comes out. As soon as he sees the snake, his entire perception of the experience of what's been happening to him, this thing that was unjust and painful and chaotic and insane, suddenly makes total sense. And when he sees the snake, he recognizes what has happened, and he turns and he falls at the feet of the holy man and says, "Sir, you've saved my life. You've saved me. God bless you. I am your devoted servant." In the split second, things that made no sense at all suddenly turns into resurrection, redemption, transformation. In a split second, he went from thinking he was in hell to being in heaven. An incredible experience. It changed his life. Now, what can it do for you or me? Well, one thing, all of us has an experience. Either it's going on in your life right at this very moment, or it has happened, or, God bless you, it will happen to you in the future. Catastrophe occurs. Pain shows up. Chaos, injustice, suffering, something that you think is really bad. Maybe you think you died and went to hell, it feels so bad. If you listen to the story, if you get the point, Rumi is saying, when you rise up enough in your spiritual vision, you can begin to see that there is a gift in the midst of the suffering. That deep down inside of you, there is something that needs to be released that might be killing you. and that this painful experience is not punishment, but it's moving you towards the experience of letting go of that thing that could be toxic or poison. And it is also giving you the opportunity to see life and all the bad things that may have happened to you in a totally different light. That there may be the hand of the holy man, there may be the hand of God, there may be a holy message right at the center of this thing that you think is totally out of control. In fact, from Rumi's point of view, he's not saying maybe. He's saying there is. And what we need to do, if we're willing to have the courage, is to surrender to it and wait for this snake to be expelled. And then we will see the hand of God Himself in the midst of the chaos of our own lives. God bless you.